Hi everybody, what's up? How's everyone going? So today I am going to read you some real stories that I have found. And this is real because they're from real people. So here we go, and mind the noise. Yeah, I'm living on a main street now, so here we go. So this is seven real life stories, like Australian haunted stories. So here we go. So stories of haunted houses are tales as old as time. As children, we told stories, sleeping overs with friends, and as adults, we read books or watch our movies about them. But what about those who swear they have experienced a real haunted house, not merely through folk, but in their everyday lives? From people growing up in spooky homes to real estates, stumbling across strange mysteries. Here are some real stories of haunted houses that will make surely that you'd keep the lights on at night. So here we go. So the first one is about a spooky house inspection. I was inspecting a big two-story house by myself in Wellington Point almost 20 years ago, back when people could pick up the keys from the rental agency and go by yourself without being bothered. I walked through the entire place thoroughly, both upstairs and downstairs, and the house was completely empty. As I was finishing up, almost to the front door, I heard footsteps on the floor above. I yelled out to see if anyone was there, but no one said anything back. Seconds later, I heard more footsteps that gradually became louder and louder, followed by a loud bang of a door slamming shut. Totally freaked out, I got the hell out of there as I was driving away, and I thought to myself, no need to apply for this one, as that's a big note for me. The haunted share house. I once moved into an unusual, large, incredibly old three-story terrace in Newcastle. There were only one other applicant on top of the floor, myself in the middle, and the lower level was inhabited and sat in a blanket of dust. Both myself and my housemate worked a lot, so seldom saw each other, but early on, I started to feel like I had other company. I would hear constant footsteps below me, which then escalated to sounds of someone running up and down the hall. During the middle of the night, I would hear splitting up and down the stairs, so springing up and down the stairs, which were next to my room. Some nights it became so loud I would jump out of bed, sure there was a kid loose in the house playing a trick. I would get up and walk around, text my housemates to see if she was home, but she would reply and say she wasn't. I started to even investigate the downstairs area, but the dust was completely unmarked. About 3 weeks in, I started seeing a guy who would occasionally stay at my house. One night, as we were sleeping, he bolted awake screaming. After hearing some similar sounds, he jumped up and shone his phone light down the stairs, but no one was there. It was a terrifying reminder that I wasn't going crazy. It was also one of the last times he would stay over. After 3 months of what felt like sleepless nights, I saw my housemate out at a bar and confronted her about my issues. I thought she would look at me and was stupid. Instead, she said, "Yeah, so I didn't want to tell you because I really needed to pay the rent, but the house is haunted, and your room is supposedly the worst." Needless to say, I moved out a fortnight later. The eerie doorbell. We had a house in Bathurst that had two doorbells, one at the front of the house and one at the back. I think maybe the previous owner had used the house as a business and would use the back area for an office. Who knows? One night, me and three friends did the Ouija board and asked for a sign, and before we knew it, the doorbell rang, and we freaked ourselves out, of course. And over the time we lived there, the doorbell continued to ring on and off every now and then. I thought it still scares me to this day. Seriously, I think I will forever hate doorbells. The ghost that refused new owners. A few years back, I was selling a property in Gurd. The owners randomly said that someone wouldn't be happy about it, but I thought she was referring to another agent. Anyway, when I turned up, the key to the front gate wouldn't turn. It wasn't too hard to convince someone to jump the fence as we meant business, as the copywriter hopped over, and then when he tried to unlock it from the inside, it still wouldn't work. So then he tried to unlock the front door, and again the key went in but wouldn't turn. I then phoned the owners to let them know, but they didn't seem that surprised and asked if I could reschedule, as they would get the locks changed. They did this and gave me a new set. Tried and tested and said to be working. However, surprise, surprise, we couldn't get in. Once again, I went back to the owners and they said they were having trouble at home with certain things too. And then when I pushed them, they said that the ghost of the house didn't want them to sell. In the end, they decided to withdraw the sale and stay put. But at first, I thought they had another buyer and had approached them, or had anyone else knowing what's going on. As time went on and nothing changed and there was no sale there. Maybe the ghosts got their way, who knows. Very interesting story, that one. The bossy old lady. My dad used to live in a house with a ghost in Nelson Bay when he was younger. Apparently, it was an old lady who used to live there. Dad said whenever she would show up, he would just let her go away. And then she would, but this one night he let a mate sleep at the house, and in the morning he was gone. When he later asked his friend where he went, the guy told him that an old lady came out and yelled at him, telling him to leave, and Dad figured it must have been the ghost. Other people in our family have said they have seen her too, and whenever they would hear cupboard doors shutting for no reason, they simply go, "There's the old lady again." The Appalling Falls from the Piano Room. When I was 3, my family moved into a small town in the Ravenna area in New South Wales. The house we moved into was built around 1910 and we moved there in 1980. It was a creepy house and everybody in the family seemed to agree on this. I don't believe in ghosts, but there was some things happened at that house that I find difficult to grasp still today, 37 years later. For example, there was a very long hallway to my parents' room from my room, and I used to go in their room to sleep as I always was afraid almost every night. At the end of the hallway there was a piano room that felt very dark and haunted. This one night I woke up afraid, so I walked the hallway terrified, and once I got to my parents' room I felt as if I was being pulled further down the hall towards the piano room. I remember grabbed the door frame of my parents' room and pulled my body into their room, and that moment it felt as if the pulling force suddenly let go. Incidentally, I dreamt of this house maybe twice a month, and I feel very drawn to getting back to the house and confronting the hallway as an adult. However, I don't really want to bother the people who live there now. And the last story, the rocking chair with a view. I was once selling this house in Gordons Bay, previously named Thompson's Bay, and the owner told me that it's where the ghost of Tomo's Bay lives. They assured me that the ghost was very friendly and couldn't cause a fuss, before pointing to a rocking chair and saying he hits over there and enjoys the view. Not hits, sits. What am I saying? My foot's going to sleep on me. What was I up to? I remember not making too much of it at the time, but when I found myself alone in the house, walked around lighting candles and fluffing cushions before potential buyers turned up, lo and behold, the chair started to rock. I just laughed and talked to myself out, feeling scared, showed people around and worked very hard to get the property sold so I didn't have to go back there again. As it turned out, the property sold very well and the purchasers are still there over 25 years later. Who knows, maybe there are stories to tell. So guys, thank you for coming in here and listening to the stories. If you know any other stories that you want me to do for you, comment down below. Other than that, if you like this, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.